The delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Turpin.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, members of the House, it's right that we join in the honor and memory of those that died yesterday. But at what are thoughts and prayers not enough? Yesterday began as a happy day. In this chamber, we wore red to celebrate Valentine's Day. Our staffs were celebrating. It was a good day. But in the middle of the afternoon, we began to see news reports out of Florida, and it became a very bad day. December 14th, April 20th, March 24th, May 21st, April 16th, March 21st, and now February 14th. Mr. Speaker, the list goes on far too long than it should. All of these days start out good at an American school or university, but at the end, end up being very, very bad. The list of acts of gun violence to happen at a campus during my 25 years as a teacher is longer than any one of us want to think it is. Frankly, we're running out of good days. Mr. Speaker, some would say it is too soon to talk about February 14th. It is not. Mr. Speaker, it's far too late. Far, far too late. We can't let the frequency of these tragedies diminish our outrage. We cannot hide behind the notion that this is somehow normal, that this is what we signed up for, that these tragedies are what some call the price of freedom. How are we free when we live in fear of tragedies like this one? How are we free when our teachers are having to teach students mass shooting defense practices as if it's normal as saying the Pledge of Allegiance? How are we free when children go to school in the morning but don't come home? Our hearts cannot grow callous from the prevalence of tragedies. Our call to action is not a political one, but a plea for mercy. A plea that we will put politics aside and address this crisis head on. Waiting around for the right time to have this conversation yet again will only put more lives at risk. There are far too many empty chairs in dining rooms across America due to our inaction on gun reform. This shouldn't be an everyday issue, but it has become just that. To my friends and my colleagues across this chamber who say they want practical solutions to everyday issues, there were over a dozen pieces of gun reform legislation in this chamber that were not allowed to see the floor. We need solutions now. Today, Mr. Speaker, we pray for the families. We remember the victims and the heroes. But when will we act, Mr. Speaker? When will enough be enough? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.